Imagine living in a city where the streets are packed. The air smells like smoke and sewage, and your entire apartment could collapse at any moment. Welcome to ancient Rome, not as a senator, not as a gladiator, but as one of the countless poor people who made up the heart of the Roman Empire. Today we're diving into what life was really like for the poor in ancient Rome, and spoiler, it wasn't glamorous. Most poor Romans lived in insulae, tall, cheaply built apartment blocks crammed together in the city. The lower floors were expensive to rent, but the poor were stuck living way up top where the stairs were long, and the risk of fire or collapse was very real. There was no running water in your home. No toilets, maybe not even a kitchen. If you were lucky, you had a shared latrine somewhere nearby and a fountain down the street where you could collect water in jars. At night, you might hear rats shouting from drunks or the building creaking under its own weight. Forget 5-course meals. Most poor Romans ate simple, repetitive diets. The staple was a kind of grain porridge called pulse, made with water, maybe a few vegetables if you could afford them. Bread was common, and olives or lentils added some variety. Meat, that was a luxury, maybe on a festival day, and if you were lucky. Most poor people didn't cook at home. Instead, they grabbed food from street vendors or small taverns called popinae, where the food was cheap and sometimes questionable. Jobs were hard, dirty, and unstable. If you were poor and free, you might work as a porter, a builder, a street cleaner, or a vendor. Many were day laborers. You got paid if you worked. If not, no food. Women might sell goods in the markets or work as domestic servants. Children worked too, from a young age, just to help keep the family alive. And if you were enslaved, you had no choice at all. Your life and labor belonged entirely to someone else. Despite the hardships, there were a few upsides. Public baths were affordable and popular, a place to clean up, socialize, and even hear news. Public fountains provided drinking water, and the Roman government handed out free grain to some of the poor, partly to prevent riots. And entertainment, the Circus Maximus, gladiator games, public festivals, they were free or cheap to attend. The empire knew how to keep its people distracted, bread and circuses, as the saying goes. If you were poor in Rome, you had very little power. Even if you were a citizen, your vote meant little. Justice often favored the rich, and disease was everywhere. You lived hard, you worked hard, and you probably didn't live past your 30s, but your labor kept the empire running. You were the silent majority, the invisible engine of one of history's greatest civilizations. So next time you see the ruins of ancient Rome, remember, it wasn't all marble and glory. For most people, it was dirt, struggle, and survival. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. What era should we cover next?